Details have emerged of how Britain's £54 million cash bung to the French is going to be spent after the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, got into a war of words with France's Interior Minister over shoddy efforts to stop migrants from crossing the Channel and reaching Britain illegally. A major bone of contention is misspending. The French were supposed to draw on some of the £54 million to launch aerial patrols along the northern coastline. They haven't. The Telegraph reports that part of the funds have been set aside to pay for new reception centres spread across France. Under the scheme, migrants amassing opposite Britain in the north of France will be brought down to centres further south, where applications for asylum in France or a safe EU country will be processed. The investment in those centres across France would be dedicated support to migrants and possibly voluntary returns to countries of origin where appropriate, said a Home Office source. Unlike the coastal patrols, there is no indication the French will avoid implementing this project. The source added, it will include accommodation, medical advice, and guidance on asylum applications so that they have an alternative to crossing. The further away from northern France, the more chance there is of changing their behavior and decisions. Dan O'Mahony, the clandestine Channel Threat Commander, told MPs that reception centres have a good track record, adding that migrants are much more likely to claim asylum in the French system. However, the expensive program, rather than confronting migrants with tough choices, adds an extra layer of security. The French authorities complain that migrants linger around Calais for extended periods, usually making several attempts to cross before finally making it to Britain. The scheme does not discourage this activity. Instead, migrants will know that if they fail to make it, the Europeans will look after them. With another wave of migration set to hit Europe from Afghanistan, is now the time to add incentives? The more money we put their way, the worse job they do and more problems come up. We should not pay the £54 million until we see some results, otherwise we are throwing good money after bad, complained Tim Lawton, a former chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee. Following Priti Patel's announcement last week that migrant boats would be turned back, the proposal turned out to have many holes in it and is virtually unworkable. Britain and France are accused of copying the Turkey-EU deal, whereby Ankara takes back migrants launching towards Greece and processes them. Turkey's Islamic government has already made billions from the arrangement. In June this year, an extra Euro 3.5 billion was set aside by EU bean counters, posing the question, will the French reception centres turn into a black hole for the UK taxpayer? Crucially, the Turkey deal has a hard edge that actually stops migrants from reaching the EU. Greek patrols are authorised to push smugglers' dinghies back to Turkey. No such privilege is being given to the Brits. Indeed, Patel's opposite number, Gerald Darmanin, lost his rag last week over British plans to apply a bit of muscle in the Channel. France will not accept any practice that is contrary to the law of the sea, nor any financial blackmail, tweeted Darmanin last week in response to Patel's unilateral pledge, which came on the back of reports Britain would withhold payments if Darmanin's Interior Ministry didn't get its act together. The minister added, Great Britain must stick to its commitments, as I've said clearly to my counterpart at Priti Patel. The friendship between our two countries merits better than posturing which harms the cooperation between our security services. The double standards were not lost on the former Director General of UK Border Force, Tony Smith, who scorned France's refusal to apply the effective parts of the Turkey set up to the Channel as hypocritical.